Now I want to bring on somebody to help make sense of everything that's happening. Joining me now, civil rights attorney, friend of the show, Joe Richardson. Joe, thank you so much for coming on.
Always good to be here with you, Jesse, always.
Thank you. I feel the same. So I want to start with the biggest development. We're talking about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, a college athlete, a beloved son. He was a young man who police say just went out to celebrate the 4th of July on a barrier island with friends and never came home. The case has gotten so much attention that even some notable names are weighing in, calling this case a tragedy, but praying for justice, praying for transparency. And also, this is interesting too, there is a judge with apparently a connection to this case who's now spoken out, looking to seemingly set the record straight on these rumors surrounding her family's connection or involvement. And now the case is being attached to perhaps one of the most recognizable civil rights attorneys in the country, Ben Crump. Just recently spoke to ABC News, raised some serious questions about the handling of this case, is now representing Nolan's family. And all this while Nolan's body is being flown out of state for an independent autopsy, the results of which are potentially, reportedly, expected as soon as tomorrow. Joe, before I even go to the independent autopsy, why hire a lawyer?
Because of all of the things that you don't know. Things happen very quickly as it pertains to a death. And gosh forbid there's something to hide. We're not saying that that's the case. But if there was something to hide, after an autopsy and you put that body in the ground, the body's not going to tell you any tales. And so we'll talk more about the autopsy, but that's one of the things that an attorney will do is get you a private autopsy. In the case of Ben Crump, he's also going to get you the attention that's going to ask questions that will put pressure on the powers that be, as it were, the people that are supposed to investigate thoroughly, etc. Because there are unanswered questions, you have to do the best you can to get to a place where you have every question answered that can be answered. You're not there, but is every question answered that can be answered? If the answer is no, and you can find an attorney that can draw attention as well as investigate, direct traffic, point at things, as well as address it with the media, then that's what you do.
Does this signal to you that either the family, the friends, they believe that something's not right with this investigation, or is it just to cover your bases? They know it's getting a lot of attention. This, like you said, Ben Crump is a renowned figure in the legal industry. You wonder if he has back channels with law enforcement, his own sources, if he can put pressure on law enforcement or the prosecutor's office, or who. And I'm not saying that there's a crime that has been committed, but is this signaling to you that something is not right, or the family believes something is not right?
Yeah, I think that could very well be the case. I mean, Ben Crump, he's nationally known. I've seen him in San Bernardino down the street from me. But where people got to know him on a national standpoint is in Florida, where he's from. But he's got connections to the South, of course, deep connections to the South, went to school in the South, has handled cases in Mississippi, et cetera. So it would make sense that Ben Crump or somebody like him would be able to press buttons right away and start to ask the right questions and to pull on the right resources, make the right calls in terms of understanding what's out of sorts about an investigation. So it's not only trying to get at what we believe may be the truth or whatever we can know about it, but is anything being done differently than how it would normally be done? So he brings to the table all of those types of things.
Legally, can a lawyer file something with the court or file something to put pressure on law enforcement or to direct law enforcement to release information to the family?
I think that you have to look at whether and to what extent the powers that be here, I believe it's going to be the state of Mississippi as of right now, is not doing what it would normally do. If there's something that's not being made available as quickly as it would normally be, the key is entities get in trouble for not following their own rules, right? So what's really important is to make sure that they are following their own rules. And to the extent that you're asking for something that maybe there's some gray area about, release the tape. Release, a lot of times we might be talking about body cam when it's talking about police and things like that. We're far enough along where there are often specifics related to those rules. But if there's gray area where there's no specific prohibition on releasing something, releasing some information, doing X or Y or Z, and the police or the investigators aren't doing it, then maybe that's what the media attention helps to do. Particularly if, the shoe's on the other foot now. Often when people get pulled over or when people deal with police, they say, well, if you've got nothing to hide, let me search the car. So now here are people saying, authorities, if you have nothing to hide, be as transparent as you can possibly be within the law to let us know everything we can know about what happened.
Is this also, and I'm not saying this is a motivation for the family, but is there also a potential that you hire a firm like this to start to see whether or not there is a framework for potential lawsuit?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Because what Ben Crump and the Ben Crumps of the world are going to do, and what we all do, try to do, is find out where the holes are. Here are the holes. Here are the things that we don't know that we ought to. There might be some things that we will never know because we weren't there. But what are some things that are out of sorts that we can figure out and things that we know we can't figure out? And the question becomes, to the extent that they can, why aren't the authorities, the investigations, et cetera, filling all of that in? Not to get ahead of ourselves, depending on what you're going to be asking about, but there's also the element that one of these kids' mom is judge.
I do want to talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So, and she's put her toe in the water too. So there's a lot of powerful people dealing with it. That's why as much attention that can be brought to it is really important, but you want to understand whether and to what extent there may be legal rights that were infringed on or something that might be actionable.